Hey everybody, this is Greg Petix, founder, curator, docent, and gift shop employee of the Petixonian Institute of Comic Book Studies. Welcome to our second episode. I know last time I promised we'd be doing a lot of underground comics as our subject matter, and we will. But of course, every now and then I'm going to be taking little side routes in comics history. And once again, these are some comics that were very important to me as a little kid. They were just kind of blew me away how the quality of some of the stuff in here. Of course, some of the stuff in here is utter dreck, and you'll see that, the difference. And so it's Batman Family. Batman Family was a 70s DC comic. Al Milgrom took over as editor at a certain point. I'm not sure which. But I started with number 17 mainly because of Michael Golden. All these issues have some outstanding early Michael Golden artwork. And when I was a little kid, I bought anything with Michael Golden, even if it was just a cover. So I'd buy She-Hulk number 9 just because Michael Golden did the cover, even though the insides were shit. But we actually get to see beautiful interior artwork by Michael Golden, very young. These are like 78. This is before the Micronauts, before he went over to Marvel. But man, this stuff is beautiful, some of this stuff. But there's also some other treasures in these comics other than Michael Golden. For example, let's start off with Batman Family 17. A dollar comic. That was a thing in the 70s, having a big fat comic for $1. Fucking beautiful Mike Kaluta cover to start with. Look at this. It's just, every character is drawn probably the best they've ever been drawn up to this point. Just amazing. As you can see later on, they liked the art so much that they would use it for bullet points later on in the run, which makes sense because they're fucking gorgeous shit. So, yeah, there you go. It's already promising. Front piece by Jim Starlin. That's another thing they used to do back then. Just have a page basically pin up. Batman's looking a little weird in this, looking like Dracula's nephew or something. Kind of an ungainly pose, but it's still kind of neat to see Batman drawn in this weird way. And there's a little poem even by Al Milgrom. He wrote this poem. It's very bad. It's not a very good poem, but it's nice that they're trying something new. So the first story in this comic is a Batman and Robin comic, written by Jerry Conway, art by Jim Aparo, longtime Batman artist, probably did hundreds of Batman stories in his lifetime. Not very good. By the late 70s, Jim Aparo was, I don't know, just not that appealing, at least to me. Every now and then he can pull off a nice, Batman like that looks like a perfect merchandising thing. Like, that would be great on some Underoos or something. But, oh yeah, let me center this. Sorry, I forgot to do that. Hopefully it wasn't cut off. So, yeah, this Huntress shows up. Huntress, 70s comics character. I was thought she was kind of hot when I was a kid. There was something about her that she was, sexier than most of the other superheroines out there. I don't know why, but she's from Earth 2, and she's the daughter of, in Earth 2, Batman and Catwoman got married. And they had a daughter. And when Catwoman got killed, Batman retired, and Huntress took up the mantle to fight for Gotham, to protect the innocent of Gotham. Because her dad, Bruce Wayne, was too traumatized and couldn't go on. So the story's not bad, for a goofy 70s comic. Jerry Conway isn't as hackish as a lot of the writers back then. He uses a lot of purple prose in his panels, as you can see, the very big captions, I meant to say. And this one has that whole ironic thing where there's this guy going around attacking beautiful people. He's got this horrible mask, and they realize it's this guy who used to be like an Adonis, and he had some accident, so you assume he's really fucked up. But of course, the irony is when they finally unmask him, he's got this tiny little scar under his eye, and it's all in his mind. He's just a freak. And Batman walks away as he's screaming into a hall of mirrors, horrified by his own visage. Sorry, how do you say that word? I don't know. The deepest scars are in the soul, writes Jerry Conway. Okay, here's a little weird thing. I rip out ads from comics. In the 70s, all the ads were in the same signature. Sometimes I just rip out stories if they're this bad, and this was wretched. In the 70s, Don Heck, Marvel mainstay, cartoonist, went to work for DC. End of his career in the 70s. Oh, his stuff was terrible. Every time I'd buy a DC comic as a kid, I would just shudder when I saw Don Heck's credits. Usually I wouldn't buy it, but sometimes he'd do the backup. So I have no idea or remember what the story was about. I ripped out most of the pages, and I don't care. I don't regret it at all. I wish I could have ripped out this without ruining the rest of the comic. Letter page. I guess that's kind of a thing of the past. Okay, here's where things get good. Holy shit. So, Man-Bat has been appearing in Batman Family for a few issues, according to the letters page. I sussed that out. But here he's teaming up with the Demon, Jack Kirby's great character. And this is really early Michael Golden and inking himself, which there's not much of that in the 70s and 80s. He always had an inker. So this is just superb shit. And this is like super young artist. He's really young. Every now and then you see some weird thing, like, I don't know what's going on with Batgirl's hip there. It looks weirdly bulbous. If she was turned sideways, that would be like, oh, that's her nice ass, but no, that's just weird. But, yeah, just the layouts, he's already better than most cartoonists, I think, in the comic industry at the time. And he's just a young man coming out of the gate. I think this shit is beautiful. Like, look at this illustration. It's just this guy's face, and he does have this almost pre-manga thing where people have really big eyes, like almost foolishly big eyes. Like, look at his eyes here. That's Man-Bat in his, he's waiting for his baby to be born. So, Morgan Le Fay is back to fuck with the Demon like she always does. Man-Bat gets involved. She's like doing some shenanigans with the babies in this hospital. People see them as monsters, this little guy. And, but the thing is about this comic is, yeah, let me go back, I forgot. Yeah, it's Bob Rozakis. And Bob Rozakis was just this total hack at DC, but he did hundreds of comics for them. Because back in the 70s, it didn't matter. As long as you could spell and put a goofy plot together, you could work in comics forever. And as long as you had your deadlines. So I don't think Bob Rozakis ever did a comic that anyone ever gave a shit about. It's, yeah, pretty exemplary hack guy. He mostly worked in the offices at DC, but he did lots of freelance writing. None of it very good. But it's because I'm Golden, though. You don't care. It's just like this beautiful art. Like, look at that Man-Bat. It's like so different than Man-Bat's ever been drawn. And just this demon, kind of a silly demon, but you know, Michael Golden's starting. He will get much better at that. There's all these characters so well illustrated compared to your average comic, especially at the time. And so there you find out that the babies are turning into demons. No, it doesn't really matter. It's stupid. There's some interesting things that don't look very Golden. Like, I don't know if you can see here, but like the line work on his hair there is very odd. You don't often see that in comics. Not only just Michael Golden, any comics. So I don't know if he's, trying stuff out. He's a new guy. He's like, hey, what'll work for this? So, yep, there's the demon. He draws a damn good demon. This guy's amazing. Look at that. That's just like right out of Frank Frazetta or something. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, the story's nonsense. It's just really stupid. The dialogue's pretty shitty. But man, look at this art. Just, he's already got it dialed in, Michael Golden. He's already a master, I would say. I don't think that's exaggerating. He's already better than most guys who've ever worked in comics for 20 years or something. It's kind of weird that Demon's piggybacking on Man-Bat. But even stuff like this, even if it wasn't so well drawn, just like having this foot in the foreground, the way he's flying, the angle. I mean, Michael Golden's trying out all this great storytelling and just making it very dynamic. Here's another example of eyes. Those are kind of ludicrous. I think he was, not that consistent. He forgot how big the eyes were supposed to be. Yeah, there you go again. I like how he makes Morgan Le Fay kind of horrendous looking, but also kind of hot in like a typical way, but she's kind of like, I don't know, she looks like a hot grandma or something. A gilf, if you will. Yeah, just beautiful Man Bat. I mean, God, I just wish Golden could have joined Man Bat a lot. I like this little transformation. Down to there. Kirk Langstrom. That's his alter ego. And then there's a happy ending. They defeat Morgan Le Fay with the help of the Sorcerer's Stone, turns her to stone. And when he goes back, he's worried that his baby will have been infected by this demon curse. But you get a happy ending. Don't often see this in comics, a whole full page of a baby crying in a mom's face. Beautifully drawn, though. I mean, this could be an ad for Ivory Soap or something, right? Good stuff. And, so, I buy this comic as a kid. I'm in. I'm like, holy shit, that's Mike Golden guy. This might have been one of my earliest Mike Golden comics where I learned to love him. So the next issue, number 18, Batman Family. Jim Starlin cover. Not bad. This is weird. This front piece has got no words, anything. It's almost like, I don't know, if you bought this comic, you'd just be like, what? Is this the first page of a story? I don't know what's going on. Usually they have the logo, but Joe Staton, kind of cartoony. Not that great. Here we go again, though. Michael Golden back on the case. And so he's getting to do Batman now. And Denny O'Neil's writing, the great Batman writer. So this is going to be better than the other stories that we've read. But here's a bonus. The inks on this are by the amazing P. Craig Russell. And, I mean, having Golden is enough. But then you got a second world-class artist. Another one of the great artists of the 70s. Head and shoulders above most artists of the 70s. So this story is, it's actually kind of, I reread this last night. It was actually pretty exciting. It was definitely better than most Batman comics or superhero comics of that period from my childhood. It was pretty fun. There's this weird character, this DJ guy named, what's his name, Barry Dark or something. And just beautiful, man, P. Craig Russell, inking Golden. I mean, look at this stuff. I think he's tempering Golden, too. I think he's probably like, okay, Golden drew the eyes too big on this character. He didn't temper this character, though. This character is kind of grotesque. Tabitha Blatant. I kind of like that name. Tabitha Blatant. She's kind of like the, some character who pops up. And then these guys show up. I love this. It's like the Gargoyle Gang. And this would just be ludicrous if, like, Don Heck drew it or some hack from the 70s. But Michael Golden makes all these great designs. These guys look pretty cool. Even though it's just a throwaway thing that Denny O'Neil wrote, this would be so boring and shitty. 90% of the artists from the 70s if they drew it. But this is amazing because the way Golden is already just great at storytelling, great at laying out a page. So, it's this kind of an elaborate action story where Batman's got to go in the sewers to apprehend this fleeing Gargoyle gang who were going to escape through the sewers. But they don't know that there was a flood that night and the dam broke. So the sewers are filling with water as Batman's trying to catch these guys before they all drown. Batman soon finds out about it. And there's this kind of running gag where Barry Dark, who never takes off his tie even through an 8-hour shift, he's wigging out. The story's so exciting. He's taking off his jacket. He's chain smoking. He's sweating. And then they cut back to the story, and Batman's taking them off, picking them off one by one. Just still, every page is beautiful. I mean, especially consider the 70s where there was just so much, fucking, Keith Pollard and Sal Buscema. Just look at the inking on that. The modeling and the shading, it's just like, it's fucking gorgeous. You can really see P. Craig Russell's line work there, too. And, yeah, Barry keeps losing his shit. It's, Batman is, knows the score now, so he's actually trying to save these guys and apprehend them. He's trying to convince them, like, guys, we're all gonna die. Stop fighting me. We gotta get out of here. So he succeeds. He gets them all out of there. And, this is a little weird Batman there. It's a little, vertical. I don't know what the word is there. But, Michael Golden's young. He's starting out. But then again, maybe Pete Russell, overread that or something, or change the art. So, of course, because she's ugly, it turns out Tabitha Blayton's behind the whole thing. And she's bad, and she goes to jail. And then the kind of joke at the end is that in the morning, Barry Dark cleans himself up, and all these guys are commenting like, what a cool dude, nothing ever bothers that guy. Little did they know. So, once again, I cut all the ads out of this comic, but there was an ad here, and I just wanted to cover it. So one of the ads I cut out was awesome. This ad for Shadow #1, where they try to duplicate a 4-color cover, slick cover, on newsprint. So it has this kind of cool look to it. If you have any 70s comics, you've seen this ad. I still love it, though. The blue on that, it looks really neat. Okay, here we go. Here we find out what happens when Michael Golden leaves. So this is the second chapter of that Man-Bat. Bob Rozakis writing again. Danny Bulanadi and Romeo Tangal are the artists. And this is disgusting, frankly. Look at this. It's like, can you imagine you don't want to read this at all. You look at these pages, it's like, it's like reading Mary Worth or like Mark Trail. And then Man-Bat does show up. It actually, I'm going to spoil it for you. It's his wife being like She-Bat. And you can tell because she doesn't wear pants. They keep hiding her breasts. I don't know if She-Bat has breasts when she's She-Bat. But she's always naked, but it's always in the shadow. And oh my God, just drawn terribly. Like, if that's what Man-Bat looked like or She-Bat forever, nobody would ever want to read them. Yeah, look at these pages. It's just like bad fanzine art from the 70s, like comic fanzine art. This is just, sorry. I guess I shouldn't be so negative, but this is just shit. You know what the funny thing is, too? Back then, the way they paid artists, I bet that guy got paid just as much as Michael Golden. Maybe more if he was there like 5 years longer, a few years longer. So here's The Huntress Part 2. It's really not worth mentioning this story. Once again, Bob Rozakis. Let me double check on that. I think it is. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's Paul Levitz. He kind of created The Huntress. I know he does a later one, Bob Rozakis. So she's just trying to get these arsonists in the city. Nothing really special about it. Joe Staton artwork. Joe Staton, kind of big at DC, started at Charlton. It has Bob Layton inks, though. We'll give it a nice veneer compared to normal Joe Staton. Still just, I don't know. I guess I like Joe Staton more than, definitely better than that last story we looked at. But always just kind of like cartoony and wonky. Never that great, Joe Staton. But better than a lot of the hacks from the 70s. And I like this letter page. A lot of the guys are suggesting how Robin should change his outfit. And this guy says that he should leave the laces of his tunic untied. This minor change eliminates the look of a child and gives Robin a subtle maturity and even sexuality. So I think this guy has a thing for Robin, but he can't admit it. So Batman Family, number 19. Oh, fucking gorgeous Michael Kaluta cover again. That is some good shit. Let's dwell on that for a second and just breathe it in. Look at that. Michael Kaluta did so many comic covers for DC. All gorgeous. And here we go. This is a fucking masterpiece. Once again, P. Craig Russell inking Michael Golden over a Denny O'Neil script. And this story is just, it's not, at least it's not like an embarrassing bad story like a lot of superhero stuff is, but, it's a good Batman story. He's escorting this, like, diplomat and his assistant. He wants to see the real America, this guy. He's from an unnamed country, but it seems like Eastern Europe. And Bruce Wayne accompanies because he knows that some shenanigans are going to happen. And, of course, they do. This is kind of weird. I don't know if that's like Golden just didn't know how Batman's logo is supposed to be, or he was trying something new, but that looks bad. But yeah, who gives a shit? The art's amazing in this. This is a little too dark, probably because the 4-color printing, but that's some amazing, like, really, like, giving a shit about the colors. The colorist, I think it's Jerry Serp. Let me double check. Oh, it's Adrian Roy, longtime DC colorist. She did a lot of good stuff. Oh, sorry, I forgot to send her it again. God, just stuff like that. Me and my brother used to cut these panels out and make little dioramas and, like, raise the Batman off. I think I used that panel in one of my little dioramas. Just so amazing. I mean, I don't know if you guys can imagine what it's like. 1978. Most comics are drawn by like the guy I showed you last issue. Like, they look like that. And then this guy pops up, drawn like this, you know? This crazy lady. She's like over 100 years old. So there's this, apparently in this part of the country, there's this curse of a white bat. And, you know, it just sounds like a kooky curse. But, oh, just so you know, there's another very elongated Batman head again. So I guess that was Golden's thing when he was young, making Batman having a very tubular head. So Batman even finds the guy with bite marks at his neck. So it's like, maybe there's this white bat, and it's kind of some fun action. He falls down this pit, and kind of unbelievable, but, you know, he's Batman. He does a lot of unbelievable shit. But I just hope you're looking at all this beautiful art. It's pretty amazing. Just stuff like every panel is pretty fucking amazing. I mean, you can tell he's young, though. Some of the panels are a little off in some ways, but overall, it's better than most shit. And I'm trying to get through this fast since we got 4 issues to do this episode. But I don't even know if these are worth a lot. I've never seen them mentioned. You could probably find these pretty cheap. This last page, look at that. So great. Where Batman finds his prey already with puncture marks in its neck. Apparently he was a victim of this giant white bat. Okay, once again, Batgirl, Bob Rozakis, Juana Ortiz, and Vince Coletta artists. That is not a murderer's row. What do you call that? Like a jaywalker's row of artists. That's a turd sandwich right there. Once again, I just ripped out the pages. I would have ripped out more, but then I would have gotten rid of this. Oh, just utter shit. So, letter page. I don't think there's anything interesting there. Here we go again. Once again, Man Bat by Danny Bulandi and Romeo Tengel. Fucking garbage. Look at this. Oh, I'm breaking out in hives just looking at this shit. So bad. The story's just, I reread all of these last night. I wanted to, do a good job. And it was excruciating. I just kind of skimmed it. And of course, I didn't need to read it because it's nonsense. It's like written for a 6-year-old. Really bad stuff. So here's the Huntress. Once again, Joe Staton and Bob Layton, the art team. And, Paul Levitt's writing again. He kind of had a lock on that character. There's some, look at that. There's you can tell that's Bob Layton doing some nice inking over Joe Staton. Excuse me. I got a frog in my throat. Okay. Hope I'm not going too long. Yeah, but of course, a lot of this is, look at the guy's face. It's a weird face. Very cartoony and goofy looking. But this is the continuation of the arson story. And, typical kind of cops. This could have been an episode of like a cop show in the 70s. Except it's the Huntress. Okay, last issue I have here. This is number 20 of the Batman family. Another Jim Starlin cover. And starting this issue, they have wraparound covers. That's some nice Jim Starlin. That's just a great cover overall. I love this Batgirl where she's all just black. You don't even see. Her outfit is just a field of black. Man-Bat looks a little goofy. His eyes are a little big there, but it's still pretty cool. And fucking Ragman. Love the Ragman. Maybe I'll show that off one day. I think I got the first few issues of that from the early 70s. So, this is, they go to no ads in this issue, so I won't rip anything out. Once again, we got Michael Golden. Unfortunately, it's Bob Smith, 70s, 80s inker. Kind of workmanlike, not wretched, but he does not do Golden justice, as you'll see. Interesting, David V. Reed is the writer. And that guy did like 5 comics for DC, I think, in the 70s, and he just disappeared. I guess I could look up his name on Wikipedia, but I really don't care. But this is a decent story, especially because Ragman's in it. I love Ragman. And so Batman's beating up these thugs, and you can see, if you can, hopefully you're on a big screen here, he's not doing Michael Golden nearly enough justice. Like, look at this panel, if you can see, he's just didn't draw the mouth line. Batman has no face there. It's just tan. And, but I mean, Michael Golden's art is so good, it shines through, like the layouts. It's still damn good art. But you can see when you actually look at the art itself, it's really not done justice. Except for this panel, very strange. He does all this line work, maybe because he's trying to show him in shadow. So that looks very different from the rest of the story. But this is, whatever, typical 70s superhero comic. But like I said, it's got Ragman. Here the color is doing something interesting, using the cheap color process. Doing a little rainbow nimbus effect. You didn't see that often in comics. So it's this, these mobster guys are fucking up with fucking people over, and Ragman gets involved. They fuck his girlfriend over, so they beat her up. So he's gonna kick some ass. And, there it is. Ragman meeting Batman. God, when I was, 11 when this came out? I think I needed some tissues for that. There's the Ragman. He's got a weird costume. It's just, it's rags, all sewn up. But he looks pretty spooky. So, of course, him and Batman get in an argument, just like every issue of, like, Marvel Team Up. And, have a little fight. Batman lets him get away, though, because he knows he's a good guy. So, it's got some nice colors for a 70s comic, at least, I don't know, aesthetically, but just a nice solid red for cheap 4-print newsprint comic. So, I like this ending, though. The last guy gets away, thinks he gets away, and just totally silent. Very cinematic. These are Ragman and Batman. And the last panel is just this guy just shitting his pants, quivering. Oh, I'm sorry, there's a little epilogue here. So, like, look at that. You can tell. So different than the other inks we've seen. And the Bob Smith inking, definitely not that great compared to the other people. Here we go again. Bob Rozakis writer, Don Heck and John Salardo artists. Don't care. Don't ever want to see this again. God, why can't I say that word? Elongated Man. And Red Tornado guest star. 2 of the most thrilling super characters. And I'm being sarcastic, of course. But, this is why people stopped reading comics back, when they were 12, back in the day. This is what you had to read for the most part. It was shit like this. Just nonsense. Crap. Oh, God, it's hard to look at, too. Don Heck, man. He was pretty old, and he just didn't give a shit at this point, I'm pretty sure. Maybe he just got old and his skill deteriorated. I don't know. But maybe that's the only face I like in the comic. It's different than the other ones for some reason. Everything else is just insipid. And here's the epilogue. Who cares? And then, oh my God, here it is. Look at this shit. This might be one of the earliest times that Michael Golden teamed up with his longtime inker buddy, Joe Rubinstein. And you can see the difference, from that last story I showed you with Bob Smith inks. Even the P. Craig Russell, I think this is way better. Just look at this cityscape of New York. even the colorist is like going to town. Jerry Serp is probably inspired by these guys. And then look at that man bat. That is just exquisite shit. That is some good stuff. And there's Batman running through a crowd, and they give a little shout out to their friends Larry Hama and Terry Burkett. Put them in a marquee on Broadway. Oh, this is Bob Rozakis, by the way, writing. So it's not that great a story, but you don't even care. I mean, when Michael Golden's drawn this good, who gives a shit? I mean, it's just this totally dumb little superhero story, but man, it looks so good. Just, Michael Golden's already doing interesting layouts. Like, I mean, that's, how many guys do stuff like that? Like, not just doing the grid, not just doing typical shit. He's so young, but he's already worked out all this stuff in his head, on top of being an amazing draftsman with a very unique style. I mean, when you see a Michael Golden face, you know it's a Michael Golden face. Nothing else looks like it. Joseph Rubinstein, as he is wont to do, adding lots of zipatone, really earning his paycheck. He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to buy zipatone. And, some of these I would love to see, on non-newsprint, because it's almost blacked out. I don't know if that's what the effect they might have wanted, but it just still looks amazing. It's like, oh yeah, he's really flying in the night sky, so yeah, maybe I can't see his face. I mean, sometimes in movies they do that, right? So the story isn't really anything to write home about, but it's basically about how Man-Bat now wants to be a private dick, but he wasn't having much luck, so he teams up with this other private eye in the DC universe, Jason Bard. And this is basically his audition. Jason Bard sends him away, and he's like, ooh, I'm going to trail this guy, Jason Bard, and help him on his case. And then he'll realize how valuable I am, and he will take me on. So just look at this, the dark colors. So, I mean, look, even the shit art earlier, none of the colors were like this. So I assume these colorists, I don't know if they're getting color tips from the penciler, from Michael Golden, who is also a great colorist, as we come to know. Or if he was just, inspired by, wow, this guy's drawing so good. I'm going to fucking do a good job on this one. I'm not going to hack this out. Once again, this, just a really cool angle. His foot's right in your face. You're right behind him as he's flying at this plane. And, that's hard to draw, too. A leg coming right at you. And, yeah, look at this stuff. Just nothing looked like this on the newsstands back then. I mean, not since Neil Adams, but, I like this a lot more, actually. Look at the drawing on that. The shading and the inking. That's fucking gorgeous. Just such good stuff. And we rounded out with the end of the Huntress story. Same team as before. And she gets to the bottom of the whole arson story. It's no biggie, but except for this panel. Because I always had a thing for the Huntress as a kid. I don't know why. She was so hot. Maybe because she was a brunette and she was Italian. I mean, they made her Italian later on. But, yeah, seeing this panel, I haven't looked at this comic in 25 years. It's pretty salacious. I mean, I could use that, especially when I was 13. I don't know if I ever did, but, man, that's pretty hot for a Comic Code-approved comic. But other than that, yeah, nothing here, really. But, yeah, just love her costume. She just looks pretty cool. I just wish, more was done with her. And, yeah, I'm trying to remember if anything... It is interesting in the letter pages, inside the front back cover, just how many fans are responding to Michael Golden's art. They can tell. It's head and shoulders above everyone else. No other artist is really mentioned in any of the letters, except for 2 or 3 letters. Kids are like, Michael Golden's art is a real credit to DC. Holy shit, this guy's amazing. Nobody mentions Jose Ortiz or Don Heck by name. But, yeah, there you go. That's, Batman Family 17 through 20 in reverse order here. And, I recommend ripping out all the bad parts like I did. And then you've got some pretty damn good comics from the 70s, superhero comics. But thanks again for coming and watching the video. I hope you liked it. And I hope you buy these comics. You should look them up. This golden art is amazing. I don't know if it's ever been reprinted, frankly. I've never seen it reprinted, but hopefully it is. So hopefully you'll join me next time. I'm definitely going to be doing Underground Comic next time. And yeah, this was just a little break. And I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but you'll find out soon enough. So thanks for joining us, and have a good night.